Hey Steven, so I took a look at your stick figures and your 3D pose. You did a really good job for a first assignment 3D animation student. I was very surprised. Yeah, everything looks really spot on, very good. I think it's because you do have some 2D background and very good work. So there's a couple things that I would give you as feedback just to push your pose a little bit. However, I really would like to say you did a fantastic job on not just your stick figures, but your 3D pose as well. So really, good job. All right, so let's start with the first one. So the first one, I noticed that on the stick figure you did an S-type line of action, and that's not bad. However, if you are trying to convey anger or aggression or some type of a strong emotion, usually the line of action for that is a diagonal line, a straight line that goes in a diagonal. So if you see like Nike commercials or Adidas or any type of sports brand, usually if you see the advertisements or the posters for that type of brand, they often rely on aggressive marketing. So if you look at the poses of anyone running in those types of ads, usually it is a line of action of a diagonal line. So it represents, I guess you could say aggression, but if you put it in a nice way, you can say it's like energetic or motivated, stuff like that. So those types of emotions are more likely going to be represented as a diagonal line of action rather than a curve, meaning an S. So in that sense, I would try to move that more like a diagonal line. However, when I saw you do the 3D pose, I was pleasantly surprised that you had changed it to a C. So a C is actually way better. C is better than an S in terms of trying to convey that type of energy and emotion. So I did think this was a much better improvement. So I would stick with this. This is a better way of portraying that emotion. Now, in terms of making this better, so if you want to make this better, I have a couple suggestions. One, try to always think of posing as when you're drawing or placing your shoulders and your legs. So the dots here represent where the shoulders are and the legs are. Try to avoid them being a straight line, meaning that they're in the same place in terms of the screen. And you want to avoid that because it creates something called a twinning effect. A twinning effect means when you draw a straight line down in the middle, the pose looks similar from left to right. So twinning effects usually, unless there's a certain intent to it, like it's a robot and you want them to look identical, you don't want to avoid that to make things more look natural. So to avoid that, you would simply twist the spine in a rotate Y manner, like so. And if you do that, then this shoulder will come down and this shoulder will come up. So it'll just naturally dissolve the twinning effect. Same goes for the legs. So usually if you want to change the leg positioning, you would do something with the hips. I wouldn't advise randomly twisting the hips or the spine. Try to look at the flow of where this pose is going in terms of movement and twist them in the direction that they're going to move or that they are moving in. And if you understand the flow, kind of like martial arts, then you will have a much better time avoiding these twinning effects, and it'll give you much more movement-like results in terms of natural posing. One more thing I would add is if your intent of this pose is to show like aggression, or this pose is trying to like, okay, I'm about to like blast off, I'm about to go off on you, then I would probably raise the heel of the foot in the back. So I'm assuming that this foot is forward, this foot is back because of looking at the grid here. So if this foot is back and he's about to launch in this direction, chances are it's better to portray he's about to launch by lifting this heel. So the ball of the foot is on the ground and the heel is lifting up, so you know this character is about to go off. So yeah, those tips are, I think, really good for this pose. Everything else is really good. Very good job. Let's move on to the next one. So again, very good. Yes, line of action in terms of this emotion, S is spot on. Yes, that's a very good way of portraying it. The 3D pose is really done well too. In terms of you're trying to like twist the neck, have the fingers in a slightly different pose. Very good. And the S is there. So really good job with everything. So I don't have much to critique about this one other than the shoulders. So again, the shoulder points are here. And if you draw a line between them, it's straight. So you always want to try to avoid that. In this pose, it's very simple. The arm that's more up, the shoulder should be more up. The arm that's more down, the shoulder should be more down. So in this case, this arm is more up. So I would bring this shoulder up a little bit, or I would bring this shoulder down a little bit, just to make a difference in terms of where the shoulders are positioned so that they don't look like they're twinning. And if I'm being very nitpicky, I would probably say this line of action is an S, but here it looks a little bit straight. So maybe try to make it a little bit more curvy, just so you get that nice S shape. And 3D animation, just like 2D, is all about design. So especially if you're going to go into cartoony style animations, they really make you key in a way where you are sculpting your pose to make it look like a design element. So it's a good habit to try to put that in at an early stage. Other than that, very good. I'm assuming that you'll pose this pose off balance on purpose, like it's gonna fall in this direction back here. So in terms of getting the balance off on purpose, if you did that on purpose, great job. If it's a pose that's not supposed to be off balance, it's supposed to be in balance, then I would say that this is off balance, but I'm assuming that you did this on purpose, so great job. The next stick figure, really good. I really like this drooping S, implying that this character is really tired. Very good job. Again, just the shoulders, they seem to be on the same place, and the arms as well. So if you draw a line, it's the same, right? Even the elbows are relatively the same. So you want to avoid this twinning effect. So try to avoid that by simply shifting. So let's say, for example, this leg is coming up, right? This leg is forward, this leg is back, then this hip is going to twist in this direction, right? Because this leg is coming forward. So if you do that, then when you're walking, usually the spine is doing the opposite. So it's probably going to twist in this direction, meaning that this shoulder is probably going to come more down and this shoulder is going to go more up. So you can twist the spine in the direction that this character is moving to avoid twinning effects. And other than that, really good job. I mean, seriously, again, for first time, I'm being kind of nitpicky here, but you did a really solid job for your first assignment. So just go ahead and apply those feedbacks, and you can just submit them again just in 3D and not 2D, because the 2D is already done and you can move on now. So just giving you feedback for the 3D poses. So next time, just upload them in the 3D version. Okay, so great job, Steven, and I'll see you in the next one.